Hey, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. I have Kevin Murphy back here with me today. How's it going, my friend?
Doing very well. How about you?
Good. It's always good to see you, especially this time because we're celebrating now. You got your 200th career win a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
We'd planned to talk right after it happened, but like we always say, this time of year, sicknesses just roll on through. Your team's been battling it. My family's been battling it. You battled it. I battled it. Hopefully, we're coming out the other end of the tunnel now. But let's talk about it real quick. So first of all, I heard that you had your dad on the bench with you when you got the win. And of course, your daughter plays for you. She was out on the court playing. Did that make it a little bit more special for you? And in what way did it make it more special, if so?
Oh yeah, it's definitely special. I kind of got a little emotional with the newspaper reporter when he asked me when Dan Kaufman asked me, and it
Mhm.
wasn't even about the win. That really didn't matter to me as much as it did. You're there for your players, and then of course your daughter's one of the players, and your dad who you've coached with forever. I mean, you think about him. He coached 30 years at Williamsport. This is we coached 30 years in basketball, not all 30 at Williamsport, but and then this is my 27th at Williamsport. So there's been a Murphy on the bench for a long time there at the high school. And then me helping him all those years, getting to see him succeed and playing for him, and then coming back after college and coaching with him and making it special was him on the bench with me. And, you learn to appreciate those things. The more you coach, the more you put into it. And it's funny because the kids didn't even know. We didn't make a big deal of it. That's not our style. It's not my
Yeah.
style specifically. So the game was over. We actually told the kids, and they kind of knew when Eric Dudley, who does our scorebook for us, brought in a basketball that had number 200 on it. It was the game ball, and they handed it to me in the locker room. So, but that again wasn't the special part of it. Having McKenna there as my daughter playing and my dad coaching, but also just thinking back to all the kids that made it special.
Mhm.
That without them, you don't get to 200. And then the other thing that people don't think about is your staff is the most important thing besides the players, right? And so whether it's business, whether it's coaching, you surround yourself with people better than yourself. You don't want yes people around you, and we don't get to 200 if I don't have a great staff that's supportive, that are there every day in practice, that are there in the summers, summer league team camps. So I'm just very fortunate. It's a coaching staff 200th victory, not Kevin Murphy. So
Yeah, that's cool. So, I read the article in the Herald Mail that you mentioned, and I saw a quote from I can't remember who the player was, but she said you're kind of like every player's second dad, a little bit. How does that make you feel?
oh, it's a great feeling because there's days where I'm sure they don't like me because I hold them to a higher standard than most.
And that's every parent. Your kids
Yeah,
never
exactly.
like you every day.
Ability with me at all levels, from the classroom to the games to the court or to the sidelines, the court, you name it. Yeah, it's meaningful because again, as I tell them all the time, I'll know them for maybe 4 years of their life. Now, if I coach them at elementary, middle school, it's different, but
Mhm.
I'll know them for 4 years. My impact, I hope, is long term. Like as in like after the fact, seeing them, go to their wedding, visit them, like college if they're playing college basketball. Those to me are more important to me than the wins. Just the fact that your kids appreciate what you're doing for them. That's really the big part of it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Just coaching soccer. This is my third season I'm going into coaching, and I'm coaching little kids, but the parents have reached out to me before this season's about to start in April, and they all say, they're asking for Coach Andy. Is it okay if if we request you as for the team? And I'm like, absolutely. I would do everything in my power to bring back every kid I've had if I could on my team, but it's just not. It never really works out that way. But it's nice, those relationships that you build are
Right.
definitely part of the coaching experience. Your overall record is amazing. 200, or what at the time you won your 200th victory, you were 263. You've had some more wins since then, and that's you won at least 15 games in 9 of the 11 full seasons. Is that right? Not counting the COVID season, obviously.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
That's
we're
pretty cool.
5 right now, and I mean, we
Yeah.
had we had 1 year where I think we won 12 games. We had 4 freshmen that year on varsity, and to be
Mhm.
honest with you, that might have been our coaching staff's best coaching job ever, to
Yeah.
get 12 wins out of that group that had 4 freshmen. And we played Walkersville twice, Middletown twice, Oakdale twice. We had a crazy schedule, and then had to play Walkers on the playoffs that year. So yeah, we've had some really good seasons, and like you said, the 1 year COVID, we were 6-0, and didn't play many games. But yeah, other than that, we've had a lot of success. And again, like I said, yeah, 200 wins is great, but I think the thing about doing it, was to me, whether it's me or whoever else, do it in 12 years is pretty hard to do in high
Hmm.
school because
Yeah.
you're only 22 games a year. So yeah, that accomplishment's special. But again, it takes two things though. It takes, great coaching staff and great players who are all in on it. I don't know if I could go to another school and do what I'm doing, because the kids grow up and see that it's a success and they just jump right in. And it's a program that's got an established, pedigree and established culture. That's
Yep.
huge. That's
Yep.
huge.
Next up, 500.
Make that. Not making that one.
All right, let's shift the focus just a little bit here. You just came off a pretty tough loss in the small school championship against a very good Catoctin team. Tell us a little bit about that game, what happened in the game, and how you're keeping the focus towards the playoffs with your team after losing such a close game. Probably a heartbreaker, I would imagine.
Yeah, it was tough because we battled the entire time in the CMC championship, and Catoctin's really good. Between them and 1A and us in 2A, they're probably equivalent to us as far as the amount of success they've had in the last few years in regions and region championships and things like that. Very good program, excellent coaching on that sideline. But yeah, they just made a couple of plays that we didn't down the stretch. We missed some shots that we normally make. My daughter included. She usually hits some shots for us, and her and a few other kids that we depend on just didn't have their offensive nights. But the one thing that she did, and all the kids did that night, they battled and competed really hard, and we defend. One of the things that keeps us in games, because we watch this player and I'm like, man, that's not a vintage Williamsport team, and we're not, but we play hard. They're extremely coachable, and we defend, and so that keeps us in a lot of games that when we're not shooting well,
Yeah.
it helps us out. But yeah, I mean, I think that was a game that was right there at the end. And again, it was tied with 45 seconds. I mean, it was right there to the end.
Mm-hmm.
The score was a 4-point game, but that really didn't indicate how tight it was the entire way.
Yeah. As long as the players never stop trying, I always say, just as long as you're giving it your all and you're trying, whether you're winning or losing, you're gonna come out on top, at least with themselves and their coach. So, are you doing anything different to prep for playoffs? I know you said you got to dial it down a little bit practice wise, and so you don't get too tired out. But I know you got a big break. You don't play again until Monday.
Yeah.
What's the plan going into the playoffs with the team? How are you guys prepping mentally and physically?
Well, our prep's going to be pretty normal since we've done this for so many years. We're not going to go hard hour and a half scrimmages. We'll work on our opponent's strengths and keys to what they do. And right now it's either going to be Middletown or Winners Mill. They play each other Friday. The winner, that'll be Monday. So if it's Middletown, it'll be the third time we played them. So you're just kind of, watching film on them, approaching it. And I think what happens sometimes this time of year, coaches worry so much about their opponent, and you have to, but you also got to make sure you're doing the right things, that your details are there as a coach for your own team, and you can almost have them overanalyze too much, and you just got to let them play. One of the things to playoffs, this goes for girls or boys basketball or any sport, the team that settles in the best earliest, because there's a lot of nerves, the energy's different, the intensity's different, it's a level higher than they've ever faced some of them before, because the playoffs are one and done. So that team that settles in the best early, and that's going to be my focus for the group, is that, look, just relax and play. I don't care what the score is in the first 3 or 4 minutes, but let's just go play basketball and not make this bigger than what it is. Let's just go play a game and enjoy it, enjoy the process. So, I will say this: our region is probably the toughest in the state. There's 4 teams that all have a winning record: us, Middletown, Walkersville, and FSK. And I can tell you right now, I don't know who's going to win it. Whoever does, though, I'd be surprised they don't make it to the Final Four in the state. I think it's been 10 years now straight, a decade straight. The winner of our region has gone either the state championship or state semifinals. So our region is loaded.
Yeah.
So whoever wins it has to be one of the top 4 in the state. I would be shocked if there's 4. I'd be shocked if there's 4 teams better than what's in our region right now.
Right. Yeah. You guys have actually you've played all 3 of those teams you mentioned in the regular season. FSK was back on December, a tough loss to them. The other 2, though, Walkersville and Middletown, you did beat them in close games twice, I believe, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
So experience there with Walkersville and Middletown. FSK, though, only one time playing. Are you approaching? So it'll either be, what did we say, Middletown or Winners Mill, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And FSK is the number 2 seed, so they're in the other bracket.
Yeah, they'll play Walker.
But eventually you guys may meet up.
Sure.
Do you approach those games where you haven't seen a team more rather than less, or you've seen a team less rather than more? Is that a different approach on your coaching and how you prepare to coach? Do you guys watch a little bit more tape on those teams? How does that process go?
So we played them in December, but one of the things people don't realize is we played on a Monday night, our home opener, and then we had to travel there, which is an hour and a half by bus
Yeah,
Tuesday.
it's a
We
trip.
were within 4 or 5 points with about 3.5 to go, and we just had no legs. They blitzed us pretty good the last few minutes of the game, and once it got to be double figures, I just emptied the bench. It's a long season. We had just played the night before. My whole thing was it's just we'll take this loss and look for another day.
Yeah,
So with the FSK game, it's a little different. The Walkersville Middletown games, they could have gone either way, but we do have a familiarity with FSK because we played them last year. We played them this year. So bottom line to it is there's not a lot of different prep, and here's why. To be honest with you, we play Monday against Middletown. If we're lucky enough, or what Winners Mill, whoever that is, but most likely Middletown. If we're lucky to win that game, you got a day because then you have to play Wednesday. So really, there's not a lot of prep for all of us.
yeah,
It's play, 1 day rest, play. So you really can't change your prep depending on the team. What you do is what you just said is you kind of get to know the team prior, right? So you're watching a lot of film throughout the year. They know us, we know them. There's no secrets this time of year, to be honest with you.
yeah.
Everybody knows each other. Everybody
Right.
knows the personnel. Like, let me give you an example. Lately, teams have really focused on my daughter, our point guard, because she's had some really good games and can shoot the ball. They've been face guarding her, playing boxing ones on her, things like that. So we've adjusted our offenses to tailor to other kids. So she's getting less shots right now, which is
Mhm.
okay because those other kids are now stepping up and doing things. So teams adjust to you, you got to adjust to them. But this time of year, really, it's not much prep time, for your
Yeah.
second game if you get by the first one.
Yeah, well, the good news is, like we talked about, you guys have the number one seed. You don't play till Monday, so you get a little bit of rest and preparation time. Then, and you get to play at home on your
Yeah.
first game, so that's a plus as well. And if anybody wants to catch the game, it is Monday, 7 p.m. in Williamsport. Like Kevin said, the Wildcats will really be playing Middletown or Winners Mill. The winner of that game will travel down to Williamsport. Um, I just want to say good luck to you guys. I know you all do great regardless. And I can't wait to hear all about it and read all about it, and we can get together again and do that. I do want to shift the focus out of high school a little bit and talk a little bit about college basketball and the NBA, if you're okay with that.
Oh yeah.
Because March Madness is right around the corner. We're almost through February. I don't know. I can't remember the exact date for Selection Sunday. Do you know it off the top of your head?
So it's not this week. It's like in 2 weeks. So I want to say,
Yeah,
what's the Saturday? I want to say it's like the 16th, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say that because
Yeah.
because
It's right.
the
Yeah.
tournament's at the end, like right in there. It's like right at that week after, and then it runs
Yep.
through the beginning of April. Because I always
Yep.
remember the championship game's always around my birthday. Because my birthday's on the 4th, and it's either always on my birthday or like that,
Right around.
right
Yeah.
before it. So,
Yeah.
are you going to be filling out a bracket this year?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Who do
if
you?
you're a basketball coach, you're a
It's a
junkie.
dumb
You
question for
love it.
me.
Oh yeah. I just say you love college basketball. I'm
Yeah.
not as NBA as I am college, but no, I
Hmm.
love the college game. Those games are fun to watch.
Do you? Who do you have going all the way?
Man, when you look at it, you look at Auburn, how good they are and how they played. What's so fun to watch about them is they're so efficient and they can beat you in so many ways.
Hmm.
Inside, outside. I mean, they might have the best player in the country in Broom, but the other guys they have, man, from 1 to 8, they're just so good and they're so efficient and they beat you. Like they can beat you from the perimeter, they can beat you inside, they can beat you in transition. They're defensively they're solid. Of course, Duke is really going to be. I think those two are probably the two above everyone else. But I'll tell you one team that I really like, and year in and year I like what he does, and that's Houston and Kelvin Sampson. They
Hmm.
guard the heck out of people, and they give themselves a chance every single night. And this year might be his best offensive team that he's had. That's been their biggest hiccup or issue in the tournament is that they always run into a team that defends like they do and they can't score.
Yeah.
But what they're doing in the Big 12 this year is pretty powerful. I mean, I don't know how many road games they won. I thought I saw a stat where they won like 12 or 13 road games in a row. That's crazy, to do that in a high level Division I basketball.
So, being the college basketball expert that you are, how close have you come to a perfect bracket?
Never. That's not even
Never.
close. Too many 14 seeds that beat the three, and
I don't think they exist.
no, it's say that like I told our kids this, and this is a good point that we'll segue to sports in general. I think there's so much emphasis on the tournament that I think it was Shaka Smart a few years ago, who's a really good college coach, said you can have a mediocre season be a great one in the tournament, or you can take a great season to become a mediocre one in the tournament. Meaning, if you lose a great season, and I'm trying to talk to our kids about that. Like, look, we're 17-5. That's a great season. Nothing should detract from the season you had. Yes, you want to win the playoffs, but only one team in 2A Maryland is going to be happy with their results, right? State
Yep.
champion. So I think that happens in the brackets. I think there's so much pressure on these teams, and that's why you see these upsets happen because those
Yeah.
favorites are not supposed to lose. I mean, look, Auburn lost in the first round last year. I think it was to it was league school. It wasn't. It was Yale. Auburn lost to Yale
It
last year.
probably busted my bracket. That's why I chose
Yeah.
to forget it.
So like that's tough. I would never get close to a perfect bracket. I'm not that close. No way.
It's always fun to try, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you said you're not a huge NBA guy, but you had to hear about the Luka Anthony Davis trade. What did you think about that?
I was blown away.
Yeah, I thought it was fake. I honestly thought it was fake when I saw it, because I saw it on Facebook at first.
Me too.
They came across one of the sports sites, I follow, and I was like looking to see if it was, how NFL has the NFL memes page and they always post fake stuff. I was like, does NBA have one like that? Have I liked a page like that? And I'm looking at it, I open it up, and it's a credible source, and I was blown away, just like you.
I still can't believe it, actually. Like, that's, I don't know. Those trades don't happen in the NBA, especially in season usually.
Yeah.
And he's a special player, so yeah, I mean that just changed the whole dynamic to the playoffs and the Lakers in general. And the main reason why I don't watch the NBA is it's not because I don't want to. It's because with coaching high school, you kind of gravitate to Maryland, and Maryland's another team that's playing really well. They got beat on the buzzer by Michigan State last night.
Yeah,
but they're another team that's got good guard play, which you need in March. They got a couple of nice inside guys. I think Maryland, with the right draw, they have a chance to get in the Elite Eight, the Final Four.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, I would love to see that. A lot of people within the Mavericks organization about Luka were ragging on him for his conditioning and how he took care of himself. And I talked about this the other day on my show. I think it's all about. I don't think he ever didn't not want to be there. But once he found out that they didn't want him there, your aspect kind of changes a little bit. I think going to Los Angeles, knowing that Los Angeles wants him, he can get himself back on track, get himself back in shape. You can clearly see, he's put on a little weight, but he's changed, in the couple years that he's been in the NBA. But look what he's done.
Yes.
Playing his playing style hasn't changed any.
Yeah.
He's a very, I don't want to call him slow, but he's a very methodical player. He's not fast like De'Aaron Fox. He's not, he's not huge. He's a big guy, but he's not huge. And I kind of feel bad for the Mavericks. I feel like they should have given him a chance and, tried to rectify whatever was wrong. And I think it's really going to come back to bite him. So, and it already is, because Anthony Davis is injured.
That's what I said. They lost Davis today. And what's interesting about Doncic has that old man's game, right?
Yes, that's a good way to,
down nice and slow, and going to know the pass to someone. You're like, where'd that come from? And just moves are so slow. They almost lull you to sleep.
Yeah, almost.
And I think people can mistake that for lazy. Like, I've heard people call him lazy, and I'm like, there could be some of that in him, but man, he just does so many things well, and he sees the floor well. The thing about this about the NBA, the one thing that makes those players special is they can get their own shot, or they can get someone else's shot. Right? And he can do both.
Yes.
And for slow and methodical as he is, and the old man's game he has, it's pretty fun to watch. It's pretty fun to watch rolling.
Well, in the NBA, and just like the college season as well, and to go along with high school, while high school is not as long as those seasons, those are grueling long seasons, and you have to take care of yourself. And that style of play is going to benefit him, because he's not, I don't want to say he's not giving it 100%, but some nights he may not be giving it 100% because he plays with LeBron, so that man's motor doesn't stop. I don't know how he still dunks the ball like he does at 40. It's amazing, but it'll be interesting. I think they can make a push to get into the playoffs for sure now. Before, when they had Anthony Davis, I still thought they had a chance. I thought they had a lot of young talent. Reeves looks good. I always enjoyed watching Max Christie play. He went over to the Mavericks, but now it's ramped up even more. So it'll be interesting. I've never been a Lakers fan, but I always like to follow teams, college or professional, that are doing big things. Like, I like to watch the Nuggets play. I love to watch Jokic play. That kind of style. He's got that old man style too. Very nonchalant.
I was going to ask you. So I gave you a few teams in the college tournament. Who would you give? Who's your top 2 or 3 for the NBA?
I would probably say that I like, or that I think are the best.
Yeah, who you think are going to?
I like the Nuggets. I enjoy watching the Nuggets play. For some reason, lately I've been enjoying watching the Kings.
Okay.
I've always been a DeMar DeRozan fan. I like the way he plays, like the way he carries himself. One of those really good players. When he played with the Raptors, it was their top player, and he's kind of took a little bit of a back seat on other teams that he's been on, but now I feel like he's on the Kings. He's kind of got that leadership role again. Of course, you have Sabonis in there too, who's leader on the team. And now with Fox gone, I think that kind of opens it up for him there. So I'd say Nuggets, Kings, and I'll always be a Wizards fan just because they're the hometown team. They're having a rough season, but
Yeah,
they may get flagged in the lottery if they keep losing. So that could be exciting and fun to watch. But I'll always be a Wizards fan regardless. It's just like the Redskins, Commanders, whatever you want to call them. No matter how bad they are, I'll always like them.
yeah. No, I get you. That's why I was wondering, because again, I watched a little bit of NBA, but not nearly as much as I know you do. But I wanted to see who you thought would have a chance late in the season, because I thought that was a big move for the Lakers and a good move.
Yeah, I'd say Lakers and Nuggets in the West are definitely the teams to watch. Boston's always in there for the East. At the beginning of the season, my honest thought was the 76ers would be dangerous, but all the injuries and drama they've had, I don't think that's kind of by the wayside now. The Thunder are, I like watching Gilgeous-Alexander play in the West as well. And then Cleveland, of course, I think has a chance to be one of the top teams from the East too. That's another player, Donovan Mitchell, superstar player, can, like you say, can get his shot or he can get other shots, and he's been getting other shots lately. You remember at the beginning of the season, he was going off for 35, 40 points. Now he's averaging like 15, 16, but his assist totals are up and his team's winning, and that's what's important. So,
yeah. I tell the players that all the time. Like, look, the guy who's usually the leading scorer, or the lady who's the leading scorer, young lady's leading scorer in college, I'll show them stat every year. Like, look, here's the top 10 leading scorers in college women's basketball or college men's basketball. Do you notice this? None of them are playing for one of the top rated teams in the country. That usually when there's an individual scorer dropping 25 to 30 game, that's great for that individual, but not necessarily to win basketball games as a team. So it's really actually a good thing to show kids, because I think parents and kids worry so much about points. And they don't realize that is detracting to winning a game.
Yeah. Cool. It's okay for little kids, when they're learning the game. Yeah. But like when you get to that high school level, you want to teach them a team aspect. Yeah.
Yep.
But there's always going to be one that tries to pad the stats.
There always is. Especially or keeping whatever, right?
We just know it won't be your daughter because you'll tell her not to.
No, it won't be her.
Well, Kevin, good luck on Monday. I know you and your Wildcats will do an awesome job. Rooting for you. You guys are my alma mater, so I'm backing the Wildcats the whole way. And I hope you guys can get another state title under your belt. Congratulations again for your 200th win. And we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thanks. We hope to do you proud. And hey, the boys program, the boys team is the 1 seed as well at Williamsport, and they play Tuesday night. So they've got a really good shot at winning the region championship. So they're looking.
They're big four. They're 4 players. Every time I look at the stats, I always kind of make a little bit of a joke. And I was like, you recognize these names coming out of Williamsport? Man, those guys can get it done.
Yes, they can.
They're looking really good too. Yeah, it'll be exciting.
Yep. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. It's always a great time catching up with you. And
always.
Time of year for basketball. Maybe in a few weeks we could catch up on some March Madness talk or postseason talk, that kind of thing for basketball.
Count me in.
Thanks, Andy.